Welcome into Sports Memos Betting Podcast NHL. We're doing the Tuesday NHL card with our NHL resident handicapper, Canadian resident, Andrew McInnis. Andrew, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Andrew, doing really good. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. And you're coming to us from Canada, correct? North of the border here?
Yeah, far East Coast, man. It's all hockey here. We love every sport, but it's mostly hockey.
Yeah, man, and hopefully we can find some winners for Tuesday night NHL slate here. We're going to try to make this a mainstay going forward, where McInnis and I will break down the Tuesday slate. We're doing this later on Monday, so the lines are out. But heck, let's just give them what they clicked here, McInnis. So we'll get right after it here. We got Colorado at New York, a game that you wanted to break down here on Tuesday's slate, which actually Colorado is at New York on Monday. So this could be confusing, at least for the host as I'm doing this live. But it's actually Colorado at the New York Rangers on Tuesday night slate. So we got Avalanche minus 160 on the road here, 6.5 being the total, McInnis. And, of course, Colorado playing the New York Islanders and then the New York Rangers. I'm sure you'll have something on that in the handicap, but I'll throw it over to you, man. We got Avalanche minus 155 to minus 165 as we speak right now on the road at the New York Rangers.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And, obviously, the first thing I could say with that is not really much of a travel spot, So when you look at that, as far as the back-to-back spot goes, it's not like they're traveling across the country by any means. I mean, they're just grabbing a hotel and then going across the bridge to, a different arena. So I feel like that's, first of all, not going to be an issue. And that's one thing I like to look for with back-to-back situations or traveling situations. But this Colorado Avalanche team right now, Drew, they went through a little bit of a lull, a little bit of a dry spell in the early parts of December. And then all of a sudden they've picked it up right now. 7 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals. They're finding the back of the net. They've got numerous goal scorers that are getting the job done for them. And their goaltending has also picked it up. So, I'm sensing a pretty good streak running right now. And I feel with the NHL, I spoke about it when I was in Vegas. You got to have a short memory when you're handicapping this league. And right now, this is a team I'm circling right now to be on and to bet on. They're laying a pretty good price here, Drew. And, they're just a little bit close to that range where I wouldn't want to touch it. I'd recommend if your book has regulation, get on it in regulation. But I'm comfortable enough here to lay the minus 155 here, 160 with Colorado, taking on New York, a very messy, very sloppy team right now with very, very, very rough goaltending that just you don't really know what you're going to get from them. So I say get on this Colorado streak while you can. Get on it early. So I think Colorado continues to roll. I think they get the job done tonight, but obviously this is going to be posted for tomorrow. So hopefully this streak continues. I'm on Colorado for Tuesday night, and I can get the job done against New York.
All right. And McInnis, we're going to be breaking down, or guys out there, we're going to be breaking down 4 games. We'll get McInnis's best pick for Tuesday night action. Also break down a little NFL insight at the end as well. But we got a 7:30 Eastern face-off here. We're talking numbers 5-5, 5-6 here, the rotation numbers. Montreal and Detroit, of course. We're talking late on Monday. This is Tuesday NHL card, and I'm not seeing a line or total across the board, so I'm guessing injury issues. Not really sure what's up, McInnis, but I'll throw it over to you. Montreal at Detroit, man.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, Drew, but I did want to just mention this real quick. We got our list of games we were talking about, but Montreal's playing tonight. They're on a pretty tough losing streak. It's 5 games losing streak heading into tonight, I do believe. And tonight's a big game. Again, we're speaking on Monday, but going into tomorrow, they're playing a bottom feeder in the league. And Drew, I'm not quite sure if me and you have talked about this before, but NHL has actually implemented bye weeks now, more so just kind of like rest weeks, I guess, for the team. So Montreal has about 8 games remaining until their bye week. And this is a really important stretch for them. They have a really tough losing streak right now. They've got most of their, star players, their goal scorers facing some injuries or going through some stuff right now. Brendan Gallagher, Jonathan Drouin, so many guys like that are really fighting the injury bug. This is a team that needs to get the job done at least a couple times before their bye week and try and go in on a pretty good note. So they're playing a bottom feeder team tomorrow in Detroit, and I'm going to be all over that opening line. So whether it's a puck line or whether it's a money line, I'm going to be all over Montreal. And I bet you can get a really, really good plus price with the Montreal Canadiens tomorrow, probably around plus 145, 150 on the puck line for the Montreal Canadiens tomorrow. So that's what I'm going to give out for tomorrow. Like we said, no lines right now. When this is posted, probably a few hours overnight even, we'll start seeing some lines pop up for this for this game, and I expect Montreal to take care of Detroit.
Good stuff, McInnis. And yeah, we're seeing Montreal. So that's just, a back-to-back here, which I know does happen in the NHL. But still, you don't care about that first game on the road trip, leaving home at Detroit here. You just think what the discrepancy in talent, Detroit being that bad, is going to overtake it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just really the spot. I mean, I always say must win doesn't mean will win, but the desperation is going to be there for this Canadiens team right now. They are playing some decent hockey. They're playing good defensively. They're just missing those goal scorers. They're missing the guys to produce for them. They just picked up Ilya Kovalchuk, a player, Drew, who's an absolute veteran in the league. I think he's around close to 40 years old. They paid him the minimum, $700,000 a year, two-way contract. If he goes down to the AHL, they're paying him $700,000. $7 million and $700,000. So you never really know what you're going to get. I mean, he goes from making $7 million probably years ago, now $700,000. You just don't really know what you're going to get from him, but he's a good goal scorer they picked up. So hopefully they can make a difference and go into Detroit tomorrow and prove that, hey, we're still a pretty solid team despite our injuries. So and I also believe, Drew, that the reason why we're not seeing lines is because of the goaltending situation. Montreal is definitely going to be priced differently depending on which goaltender we get out of them.
That makes a lot of sense. And McInnis, we got 5960, the rotation numbers here. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific puck drop. We got Boston, competitively priced game here, McInnis. We got them -110 to -115 as we're talking late on Monday. This is the Tuesday NHL card we're breaking down. Boston at Nashville, total of 6 in the Music City.
Yeah, interesting one here for sure, Drew. I feel like right now Boston's a team that you want to stay away from as far as the side goes. I've been really disappointed with their effort pretty much post-Christmas. They've come out, maybe they had way too good of Christmas dinners or a couple too many Coronas on the beach. I'm not really sure, but they've come out pretty flat after Christmas and into the new year here. So I'm going to look towards the over 6. Boston's been struggling to score, but right now this Nashville team is a team that's giving up goals left and right. They're competing in some high-scoring games, and you can really count on them for a very, very fast-paced game. A lot of that has to do with their defensemen jumping into the rush all the time. There's not really much time spent in the offensive zone. It's usually getting in there, getting a quick shot off. So I expect the shot count to be high and Boston to finally find their offense. And seeing a 6 here with Boston and Nashville, I feel like it's two talented teams that could go over the total of 6. So we're going to go over here. And Boston, well-needed road trip for them. I mean, they're usually a great team at TD Garden, but I feel like they need to get out of town, get on the road, and this might be even good for them, Drew. So hopefully they get some goals here in their first game on the road.
He's Andrew McInnis from the country of Canada, our good neighbors to the north here. Really knows the NHL betting markets. 8-2, 80% since January 2nd, just short sample size there, but hot of late. He's 12-3 in his last 15 plays across all sports, and just under a 30% bankroll increase in the NHL since October 17th. So longer term trend there since the beginning of the season. Andrew McInnis has increased client bankrolls near 30%, plus 29% since October 17th. And guys, we have a special coupon code here for Andrew McInnis, Andrew69. That's ANDREW 69 at checkout. You'll get Andrew McInnis's 7-day all access for less than $10 a day, just $69. It's his first name and his favorite number, Andrew69 at checkout for his 7-day all access package. Knows the NHL, also NFL as well, and some college basketball. Check him out for that as we get going full swing in college hoops. But we'll finish it up here. Last game on the slate, we got the nightcap, McInnis. 6-5, 6-6, the rotation number. Pittsburgh at my Vegas Golden Knights. We got Vegas -140 to as high as -147 I'm seeing here. 6 being the total, and T-Mobile right off the Vegas Strip, McInnis.
I love it. I'm pumped up. I'm kind of shell-shocked right now. You just said my Vegas Golden Knights. Have you found yourself a team, Drew? Or are you trading on the Florida teams?
I can't wait for the Panthers to visit Vegas. Going to go to that game for sure. But I'm rooting for both of them, man. I like both of them. I'll tell you this, though. Just from living in South Florida, McInnis, and living in Vegas, it is two totally different cities in terms of who's interested in hockey. Unfortunately here in South Florida, man, you could live all year round and really not know that the Panthers are in existence. In Vegas, there's no way that's happening. The Golden Knights are not, in a lot of people's minds, the number one team considering NFL, considering anything. It's Vegas Golden Knights above all. There's no way you could live in the city and not know what's going on with the Golden Knights. In South Florida, it's just way different, man.
Yeah, and I was happy to get to a game when I was there. It was an unbelievable atmosphere, and this is the team I'm betting on here tonight. And I have a feeling the question's going to come, so I'll answer it for you, Drew. This is the best bet here of the podcast here for Tuesday night, the late game here for anybody on the East Coast. Vegas on the money line here. We'll lay the price -145. Pittsburgh right now, Drew. You got to take into account injuries, and that's what the handicap really is right now with this pick. I mean, this team has battled adversity. They've battled injuries all season long, but this is a team that you don't want to go up against when you've got some injuries. And Sidney Crosby being out for so long has started to hurt them. But a guy named Jake Gensel, Drew, I think it's a broken wrist or a broken arm. He's going to be a key factor. I mean, he's someone that was always there when people got injured to pick up the slack. But I'm not really sure who's going to pick up that slack for them now. I'm not sure where the goal production is going to come from. And just looking down the list, I could name, 8 to 9 guys that have been injured over the past 4 to 6 weeks. But I'll save you the time and just let you know the goal scorers are lacking right now for this Pittsburgh team. Whereas Vegas, I mean, they're going to be able to find the back of the net. And their goaltending has looked sharp as of late. So this is a real good spot here for Vegas. I think Pittsburgh comes in there with a flat performance. And I think Pittsburgh will have really a lot of trouble establishing any offense against a really speedy team that plays very well at T-Mobile Arena in front of their great home fans, and I was able to witness that absolutely. So best bet here for us is Vegas Golden Knights. For all of you out in Vegas, Drew, you found a new home there as well. Best bet here for me. Vegas gets the job done.
All right, Vegas Golden Knights, and you can get them as low as -140. So for record-keeping purposes here, McInnis, I'm seeing a -140 at Bet Online, so that's available out there to the masses. Vegas Golden Knights -140 over the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's a 10 o'clock Eastern nightcap on Tuesday night. So best bet for the podcast, Vegas Golden Knights -140. McInnis, you talk about visiting Vegas here. We got a couple minutes before we got to shut it down. One thing that I take away from Vegas Golden Knights is the T-Mobile Arena. It's nice. I've been there for the UFC and everything like that, but outside is really cool of T-Mobile Arena. Anybody visiting Vegas, I always say, there's like California Pizza Kitchen, other like restaurants and bars. There's people playing music out there on that walkway. So it's almost like you don't even have to go to the game, and you can still like take in the atmosphere of watching it on TV, having a couple beers with your friends outside of the stadium. Is that something that you've noticed from going to other NHL arenas, that happens in a lot of places, or is that pretty unique to Vegas?
It happens at a lot of other places, at least the ones that I've been at. Montreal, Toronto, I know they certainly have those. Ottawa, maybe not as much, but that's probably our weakest fan base here in Eastern Canada. We won't get into Ottawa. They're kind of the embarrassment of a fan base here for hockey for us. But yeah, I'm sure you've heard of Jurassic Park, Drew, for the Raptors, right? So we have kind of a similar thing outside, in Montreal or in Toronto for those games. And I was shocked because it was really nice when I was in Vegas. There was music playing, there was, different chants, and people were watching the game. And it just seems to be a collective thing where it's not only just, cheering on the team because they're good. It's almost bringing people together. And I know that sounds so cliche, but it was kind of cool just to see everyone rallied around with their hats on or their jerseys and cheering them on. So it's great. But I'll be curious to see what the fan base is like. And this isn't a jab or anything, but I'd be curious to see what this fan base is like, when they're facing some more adversity and maybe not being a top team. But for now, they're rolling, and I don't blame the city for loving them.
Yeah, no, it's always funny to think of it in that nature. Are they just showing up because Vegas is good, or are they in it for the long haul? We will see. I think the Vegas fans, from what I've seen anyway, seem to be like they're in it for the long haul, but we will see. McInnis, also, you're breaking down the NFL as well, man. Any quick hitters you want to throw out there to the listeners on what you saw this past weekend, and maybe what we can take in going into this upcoming divisional round in the NFL playoffs, what you're looking to bet?
Yeah, man, I kind of just, I watched a lot of the stuff that you do. I was looking at your video with Teddy earlier today. I just feel like I kind of wanted to get my licks in as well. I mean, I wanted to get a couple thoughts in, and I like the Seahawks quite a bit. And actually, I had some friends that were liking the Eagles. I had some Eagles fans, a part of my friend group. And it's interesting because I feel really bad for them. I mean, to see what happened, and it's second straight time that the quarterback position and Wentz goes down. I mean, you feel bad, but I don't know. Like Seahawks right now, they got the experience, and that's one thing that I'm interested in with them. It's them, it's Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, the two most experienced guys, or the two most only guys that have went the whole way, left in this playoff. So you got to think experience plays a huge factor. And I'm a Packers guy myself, Drew. So I feel like the Packers can show up for these big games, but it's about the points that they're giving up consistently. I just wanted to touch on that Bills game with you, and even the Pats game. I mean, I'm at a bar here, Drew, in Halifax, Canada, a place that not really many people even know exists, and we had some die-hard Titans fans, and it was the funniest thing ever to me. I thought it was hilarious because I didn't know there would any, who would have thought there'd be some Tennessee Titans fans? I mean, you could be a fan of any team you want, and just absolutely losing it at the end of that game when Tom Brady throws that pick six. It was crazy to see. I mean, whether you had a teaser, whether you had the spread, it's just unbelievable what happened here this weekend. And it's shocking for me to see that was a plus 5.5. A lot of people really like the Titans there at that number. Whether or not the Patriots were going to come out on top or not, I figured that was going to be a close game. For myself specifically, I had the under in the first half as my best bet with the Bills and Texans, and I'll be looking to continue betting unders here with the Texans. I think it's very undervalued. Bills did a great job on defense, but the Texans can get really rattled easily. I don't trust their offensive line. I don't, they're going to make Deshaun Watson scramble all around, and he makes some magical plays, but I'm not quite sure that he can really keep up and continue to do that on a night in, night out basis. And, one thing I wanted to give out here, and this might come as a shock to some people, they might be impressed with what Tennessee did, but I'm watching that Patriots game versus Tennessee, and you know what I'm saying to myself? Winner of this game, betting against them next week. That's what I was saying to myself. I mean, I think that we see it around a -9, 8.5 at some spots here. We're talking about, is Lamar Jackson ready to go? Is this team ready to go in Baltimore? Whether it comes down to is their defense ready to go, or they're going to have some nerves, they're going to put up points. And I simply do not think Tennessee is going to be able to go point for point, touchdown for touchdown with this Baltimore Ravens team. So I'm looking at this Ravens team as a -8.5, -9 favorite. If you can get them under 10 points, I would jump on that. I do like the Ravens to get the job done next weekend against Tennessee. I mean, hats off to Tennessee, taking down the aforementioned Patriots. A lot of people are happy to see the Patriots finally lose, but I think that their storybook is probably going to end here this weekend.
All right, laying the wood here with the Ravens. Can find them as low as -8.5 over Tennessee. Early looks in the NFL playoffs from McInnis. McInnis, we'll end it with this, man. You think Tom Brady's taking his last snap? And if not, where do you think he takes snaps next year?
I don't think he leaves. I think he's loyal to the Patriots. It's interesting to try and buy into some of these concepts when you see a lot of the rumor mill is really working right now. Everyone's kind of making up their own spots for where he would go. I do know that I feel like in the summer, over the next few months, he needs to get more weapons. He wasn't going downfield at all. I mean, some of their drop passes were 2-3 yards, just not getting them anywhere. But you look at that drop pass that Edelman had, Drew. That could have been a first down, led to a field goal, and that could have been a win for the Patriots. And we could be talking about something completely different right now. But just not enough guys there. So I feel like he wants to stay there, but they got to get some more weapons around him. So I'm not sure if that really answers the question. I can't picture where he would go, but he needs to get some more weapons around him. I feel like based off what happened here in that wild card weekend, he's going to want to deliver something a little more special for Patriots fans one more time before he heads to retirement.
All right. Well, good stuff.
What about yourself?
Yeah. I think he's done. I think he's taken his last snap in the NFL. Yeah. I guess, people down here in South Florida are talking, with the the head coach for Miami now, Brian Flores, that in his he's worked with Tom Brady in the past, maybe taking snaps for the Dolphins. People are throwing out the Chargers. The Bears seem like that would be a good fit with a good defense. We saw Peyton Manning, McInnis, be kind of a game manager, and I say that, as a good thing, managing the troops with a good defense. I could see Tom Brady walking into Chicago and kind of doing that same type of profile that Peyton Manning was able to do with the Broncos. I think that could be a good fit. But, he's also, 43? I believe Peyton Manning was only 40 when that happened. So there's that kind of working against him. He's got a supermodel, wife and a bunch of kids. He might just go off in the sunset. I'm sure he's going to make a lot of money just, kind of the Michael Jordan, with endorsements.
Brand.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of hung it up. I don't know, man. Do you think that's an option?
Yeah, I do. I question, Drew, if the lack of going downfield was because of lack of targets or just because of lack of arm strength. And that's what I'm confused about, because if you look back when he had Antonio Brown for 2 weeks, he was throwing to him, and give him a guy that can run down the field and make some big plays like that. Maybe Brady's actually going deep, but I feel like with the talent that they have on the Patriots right now, if it stayed the exact same way going to next year, he's hanging up the cleats. But if they get some more talent, he might want to stick around.
Yeah. Well, follow him on Twitter at McGinnis Picks, myself on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. Guys, just to recap here, we got Andrew69 as the coupon code. That's ANDREW69 at checkout. We'll give you Andrew McGinnis's 7-day all-access package for just $69. That's Andrew69 at checkout. The best bet on the Tuesday night card. We got Vegas Golden Knights -140. McGinnis, anything else you're throwing out before we shut this down?
No, let's take care of business. Look forward to doing this every single Monday with you, Drew. Looking forward to looking at the Tuesday slates, because Tuesdays, remind all the viewers out there, one of the biggest slates in the NHL on a week-to-week basis. So we'll always have good options, good pickings to try and find some winners for you guys out there in the Wager Talk TV channel.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, let us know on the YouTube channel if you're watching it that way. Comments on the bottom and any ways to improve it. Also, your feedback always appreciated. Please smash the like button if you're liking the content. And McGinnis, thanks for the time, man. Best of luck with your picks. Hopefully, Vegas Golden Knights cash, man. I'm going to follow you on this one. Hopefully, we get a good trend going here with the best bets on the podcast. And guys, best of luck with your bets. We'll be back on Wednesday. I'm flying out to Vegas tomorrow, so no podcast tomorrow. Other than this is the Tuesday night podcast. We'll have Mid-Major Matt on doing college basketball on Wednesday. So, guys, stay tuned. Best of luck with your bets, and we'll talk on Wednesday.